Hi everyone. Once again, this is Jeff Kikel. I'm the CEO of T-Werx Coworking here in Cedar Park, Texas. And I wanted to introduce you to my friend Scott Carley today. Scott is a trainer, both with Vistage as well as for his own company. And Scott's an entrepreneur. He has an interesting background that we're going to have him share a bit about today. And in addition to that, hopefully give you some insights into the world of being an entrepreneur and what it takes to be successful at that. So thank you, Scott, for coming out today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Excellent. Well, let's get started right away. And why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got to be where you're at today?
Well, I'm sure my journey is similar to a lot of people. My background is in ministry. I've been involved in the ministry for about 20 years, traveled for 10 years, and then I pastored a church up in Lubbock. And I transitioned about 15 years ago from the ministry into the business world as a business coach and as a consultant.
What made you make that what made you make that jump?
Well, I don't know. It just was a transition in my life personally, and so that was a business opportunity that I felt real good about, felt well supported to. So it was just a good move at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. So how did you get started? What was what was your idea, and how did you get started into this, your business idea?
Yeah, well, I've recognized for a long time that there were a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners that had hurdles. They had issues that they needed to deal with, and I couldn't handle all of those, but time management was one of them.
Okay.
As a pastor, there were a lot of things that I had to do to manage my time. I did a Sunday morning and a Sunday night sermon. I had a Wednesday night Bible study. I had leadership training, and to prepare all of that material, you really need to manage your time well.
I can imagine.
So I thought, that's a good niche for business owners.
Okay.
So that's what I got into. We first called it Taming the Mustang. And I'm from West Texas, and we were thinking about horses and bridles and an animal that likes to bolt and do its own things, got a mind of its own.
Like our schedule every day.
That's right. And so we called it Taming the Mustang, helping them to learn how to put a bridle on their time, a saddle on its back, and make it productive instead of just running all over the prairie.
Okay.
And so it was a great illustration, and it gave me a way to help entrepreneurs get focused. And since that time, we've changed it, and now we call it Focus on What Matters, Get Control of Your Distractions.
Okay. So what's the format that you teach this in?
It's a 3-hour presentation when I go on site for a company. And that first 90 minutes, we really go into the hats that you wear. And a hat, of course, represents the roles. And each role generates some activities. So we want to prioritize your roles. What should you be doing as an entrepreneur? Not necessarily what you are doing, but what should you be doing?
Okay.
And then what activities does that generate? And from there, we pull out our crayons and we actually map out a weekly routine. And it's a weekly routine that's predictable,
Okay.
that's repetitive, to keep you focused on what matters. And then the second half of that presentation, we talk about distractions.
Okay.
Those are the bright and shiny objects and bright and shiny people that pull you away from what you should be doing.
Yes, wonderful world of the entrepreneur, finding squirrels everywhere.
That's right. And so that's been very successful. It's helped a lot of people to get the tools they needed to stay focused and be more productive, make more money. And I think we're all in the bottom line to do that.
Absolutely.
It also includes another point, though, that is kind of hidden, but it's a big deal, and that's work-life balance. Many of my first clients especially asked me about that, and as I included it more and more, then it seems to bring a lot of relief to busy entrepreneurs or executives who don't have good work-life balance. So that was our first start.
Very good. Well, now what would you attribute your success to? I mean, you got started somehow, and I know a lot of the people out there today that are maybe even thinking about a business or are new to being an entrepreneur, you have to get started somewhere. So what would you give as advice to somebody to say, this is the key to really being a successful entrepreneur?
That's a great question, and there's a couple of things. You come up with a great product, and a great product is really essential and important, but so is marketing. And I stumbled onto something called BNI, Business Network International, and they have networking groups that meet every week, and I found one and joined it. And I was new to Austin and new to that type of business. But my BNI meeting was held every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. And as a business owner, it's so easy to stay at home and work from the computer and all that stuff. And BNI was one of the things that not only helped me to market what I did, but it got me out of bed. It got me dressed up in professional clothes to a networking event where there are a bunch of other entrepreneurs, made me accountable, and it really helped to forge me in that business profile.
Sure.
Not to mention the fact that it got me connected with so many people, not just in that chapter, but around town and all of their connections. So I would say that was a huge key to my success.
Yeah, and I mean, you and I, that's how we met, was through networking. It wasn't necessarily through BNI, but just at different networking groups around town. So, I mean, I had a very similar story myself, that was how you get out there. So it's getting dressed and having specific things on your schedule, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And at first it just, I would show up and go, but then it became more and more intentional about how important it was to make these right connections.
Exactly. So, you told us a little bit about how you got started and, how you built your business over time. What are you excited about now? What's going on in your business today?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, and I come up with things. I come up with products and trainings because that's just my job. That's what I do. And for the last couple of years, I've been reading 2 books that have made a big impression on me. One is The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni, and the other one is The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. And I love both of those books independently, and have tried to do some training and teaching using both of those books as independent. But about 6 months ago, something just dawned on me and brought those 2 books together. And it made me think about teamwork. One of the things that I don't want to be is a solopreneur anymore.
Okay.
I want to be part of a team, whether it's a team that I build or a team that I'm pulled into. I've been a part of some great teams. But this training has to do with helping companies build remarkable teamwork.
Okay.
And so we all want that.
Sure.
We all dream of it. We see about it. We hear it, but we don't necessarily have it. And so one of the things that I discovered with these 2 books was not just that you wanted teamwork and here were your dysfunctions. You wanted trust and here's how to get it, but how to marry those 2. And so that when you do have teamwork and there is a fracture or trust is broken or something is not working, now I have the tools to help implement remarkable trust. Now we have the tools to help you deal with that big white elephant that's in the team room that nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to address. Finally, there are some concrete tools that Covey gives about the 13 behaviors to rebuild and forge trust.
Okay.
So I'm stoked about it.
So tell me what are a couple key things about this that help build that remarkable trust?
So first of all, understanding the chemistry of remarkable trust starts off with Covey outlines the 4 core competencies: intent, integrity, capabilities, and results.
Okay.
So now, if trust is broken or is not working right, I can look at something in one of those areas is broken.
Yeah.
So for instance, you take the Olympics. Russia was pulled out of the Olympics this year, 2016, because of an integrity, a trust issue. Their integrity went bad because of doping. Now, they gave them the opportunity to reestablish trust through a behavior, and one of the Russian Olympians was allowed back into the game because she reestablished trust. So Covey talks about the 13 trust behaviors. So, I mean, there's several illustrations. That was a good one. Number one, she resubmitted to testing. So they tested her blood,
Sure.
and the blood was good. She made herself accountable. She was accountable not just to her peers, but to the federation, and that created trust. And then she was transparent. She said, "Look, I'm free of any drugs. Test me. I'm good." And as a result of that, she got her credibility back.
Sure. And I mean, we can see that in the business world. You make one mistake sometimes, and with social media and everything that's out there, it can easily cause you to completely derail your business. And I think that's a great example of how to step back and say, okay, how do we reestablish that trust, and having a very specific way of doing it.
That's right. I mean, even think about it this way too. Maybe we have a product or a service, and something about that service doesn't work out right. You're a financial advisor, and the market takes a plunge, and people are looking at you like you're supposed to wave a magic wand and fix it. But trust is what it's all about. And there are things that you do to maintain the trust, and those are the behaviors that you can employ to maintain the trust of those clients, so they can say, you know what, that's why I use Jeff.
Absolutely.
Because he's transparent, and he does the things that need to be done to make it work. It's just, I love it.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
I think it works. So I'm excited about that. So now, are you starting to teach classes on that now? Have you begun to transition into that?
Yeah, I have. I actually have been marketing it, and I had a big executive from downtown Austin who has an executive team of about 12 or 15, and we're going in next month and training his whole team on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're really, really excited about it.
I'm excited for you. I'm really excited for you. And to have seen you over this last couple of years really transition into that, it's really amazing. So
yeah, thank you.
Well, let's hit the lightning round, because this is where we hit you with some questions.
Okay.
And really ask you, just all the fun parts about being an entrepreneur. So, first question. If you had it all to do over again, what would you have done differently in this process of being an entrepreneur?
Man, that's a good question. I probably would have tried to build a team quicker.
Okay.
Joined a team quicker. And I know that's almost an oxymoron, entrepreneur and a team member. What I've done today is I've built a team of entrepreneurs, and now we work together. Correct. And I would have done that faster.
Yeah. I think that's a way that somebody can get ahead so much faster as a result.
Yes.
So what is a tool that you use every day? Maybe it's like an Evernote or something along those lines, that electronic tool that you use in your business every day that you could share with these folks?
Trello is a big one for me.
Okay.
Trello is an online tool that allows me to, it's kind of a project manager and a task list at the same time.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in categorizing the different products and the different things that I'm doing, the different types of prospects, and it gives me a great way to keep that organized. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of YouTube videos about how to use Trello and how to implement it to its best advantage. But Trello is a great electronic tool. I recommend to everybody.
Now here's the tough question. Okay, let's assume tomorrow morning you woke up and your business was completely gone. All you have is $500 to your name and your computer. What would you do right away?
Well, I would build another training right
Okay.
away.
All right.
And I would reach out to the referral partners that I've established over time, and I would market it to them immediately, and I would also pull them in as advisors to make sure that it was relevant to what I was doing, and it's what I do.
That's awesome. Awesome. You gave us a couple great book ideas, but is there another book that you would recommend for an entrepreneur that's maybe just starting out, or just somebody that is an entrepreneur today that is a really something that's close to your heart?
The E-Myth. I think every entrepreneur should read the E-Myth, and you should really understand what you're getting into. Most of us who call ourselves entrepreneurs are really technicians. I'm a technician. I love to train. I love to speak, but we're not necessarily really an entrepreneur, and we're not really the business manager. I'd read that book to make sure that you really knew what you were getting into.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, Scott, I truly appreciate you coming out today, sitting down, providing just wonderful advice. Before we go, tell the folks out there how we get in contact with you.
Sure. You can go to my website. You can type in scottcarley.com and you'll get my website. My telephone number is 512-470-0570, and I'd love to connect with you that way. You can email me at scott@growthdynamic.com, and I'd be happy to set up an appointment and share with you what I do, and I'd be more than delighted to listen, and I'd like to hear about what you're doing, see if there's any way I can help you.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. That information will be provided in our show notes so that you can all connect with Scott. I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity, take the time to get to know him, because he's a wonderful guy, and you will learn a lot. I've sat through several presentations, and he does a great job. So thank you very much today, Scott. I appreciate you coming out today.
Thank you, Jeff. You got a great thing going on here. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.